Abandoned. Abandoned buildings. Abandoned property. The ambitious project had to be abandoned due to a lack of government funding. Precautionary. A precautionary measure. A precautionary step. This is a precautionary approach designed to minimize potential hazards of environment. Emerging. Emerging technology. Emerging problems. Emerging technology has changed the way we communicate with each other. Violation. Copyright violation. Workplace violation. Refugee workers claimed that such action was a violation of their human rights. Constructive. Constructive discussion. Constructive criticism. The dispute between the two parties could have been handled in a constructive manner. Meticulous. Meticulous care. Meticulous detail. Many hours of meticulous preparation have gone into conducting the study. Backlash. A political backlash. A public backlash. Such an absurd decision may provoke a backlash from their supporters. Artifacts. Historical artifacts. Cultural artifacts. Newly found artifacts may shed some light on the mysterious ancient cultures. Competence. Academic competence. Cognitive competence. The assessment process is based on rigorous tests of competence and experience. Pragmatic. A pragmatic approach. A pragmatic attitude. We need to take a more pragmatic approach to dealing with climate change. Abuse. Abuse of alcohol. Abuse of power. In some cases, abuse can lead to both psychological and emotional problems. Access. Emergency access. Limited access. Only authorized companies are allowed access to the security system. Adventure. Adventure sports. Adventure travel. He was the king who conquered lands for the love of adventure. Adverse. Adverse effects. Adverse reaction. Despite the adverse conditions, the construction was finished in just 8 months. Aerial. Aerial detection. Aerial photographs. Aerial photography has revolutionized the study of archaeological discovery. Anxiety. Anxiety attack. Anxiety disorder. Misinformation published by the media can cause unnecessary anxiety for many people. Artificial. Artificial intelligence. Artificial camouflage. In technology, there have been limitless benefits of artificial intelligence. Assessment. Large-scale assessment. Standardized assessment. There is little assessment of the damage to the natural environment. Barrier. Language barrier. Security barrier. Raising children remain the biggest barrier to women succeeding at work. Belief. Widely held belief. Long-standing belief. It is our belief that developments in healthcare will lead to a robust economy. Breeding. Breeding practices. Breeding program. Certain characteristics of animals can be developed through selective breeding. Chronic. Chronic anxiety. Chronic disease. "20,000 deaths a year from chronic lung disease are attributable to smoking." Complications. Short-term complications. Long-term complications. The complications of the security system make it difficult to handle correctly. Conflicting. Conflicting evidence. Conflicting opinions. The jury heard conflicting evidence from 3 different witnesses of the accident. Corporate. Corporate culture. Corporate hierarchy. Our football team is looking for a corporate sponsor to help us with costs. Cross-cultural. Cross-cultural conflict. Cross-cultural perspective. This article discusses cross-cultural issues of language training courses. Diplomatic. Diplomatic mission. Diplomatic relations. This small county has established diplomatic relations with many countries. Discrimination. Gender discrimination. Racial discrimination. People from underprivileged societies often face prejudice and discrimination. Dwindling. Dwindling resources. Dwindling economy. The dwindling numbers of plants and animals are often discussed in newspaper articles. Dysfunction. Family dysfunction. Sexual dysfunction. Her severe emotional dysfunction was very clearly apparent on her face. Efficient. Economically efficient. Technically efficient. This system is very efficient, affordable, and meets a growing need in drug delivery. Exposure. Radiation exposure. Chronic exposure. There is convincing evidence of a link between exposure to the sun and skin cancer. Factor. Contributing factor. Mitigating factor. There were several factors contributing to their recent decline in morality. Fellow. Fellow academic. Fellow practitioners. Her discovery in biology has excited a lively controversy among fellow scientists. Foreign. Foreign intelligence. Foreign policy. He amassed a vast collection of foreign currency from all over the world. Genetic. Genetic code. Genetic research. It had been reported that the patient was suffering from a rare genetic disease. Hazard. Health hazard. Occupational hazard. An increasing amount of pollution represents a serious health hazard to the local community. Heritage. World's heritage. Cultural heritage. These monuments are an important part of the cultural heritage of Chinese tradition. Human rights. Human rights abuses. Human rights violations. The organization works for human rights and environmental protection globally. Initiative. Government initiative. Regional initiative. The research initiative has been undertaken by a group of conservationists. Abortion. Abortion procedures. Abortion rights. There has been much disagreement over the question of legalized abortion. Outbreak. Disease outbreak. Massive outbreak. We have suddenly experienced an outbreak of the disease in the east of the country. Privacy. Privacy concerns. Privacy violation. The company has been comparatively successful in maintaining its privacy. Response. Disaster response. Emergency response. They have good knowledge of materials handling and emergency response. Severe. Severe infections. Severe punishment. Students may suffer severe financial hardship because of the government's new policy. Traditional. Traditional belief. Traditional practice. In some cultures, it is traditional for a bride to wear white at her wedding. Activist. Animal rights activist. Anti-slavery activist. He has been awarded as a political agitator and peace activist for many years. Budget. Budget deficit. Budget surplus. Shrinking the budget of a nation can increase competition for scarce resources. Aspect. Emotional aspect. Psychological aspect. Dealing with new clients is the most important aspect of her daily work. Agency. Disaster agency. Advertising agency. At present, advertising agencies are playing a significant role in consumerism.